Amazing day to all. This is your amazing guru, Teacher Dan Rogayan, and welcome to another episode of our Letter B session. This time we will be focusing on general education, and join me as we answer another 10 item questions in this video. So I hope you have your paper and pen and have yourself ready, no, para samahan ninyo akong muli, no, sa pagsasagot natin ngayon, as you prepare for your board licensure examination for professional teachers. All right, so let me have my screen here. So again, this is Gen Ed Mathematics, and this is the part 6 no, of our Gen Ed Rationalization series. As I always reiterate and emphasize, my fervent prayer for all of you is that you will all be able to pass the licensure examination for professional teachers, right? So for our first question here, among the given percentage, which is equivalent to 0.09? Is it A, 9%, B, 90%, C, 0.9%, or letter D, 900%? What is the answer? So this is actually from decimal to percentage. The correct answer is, of course, letter A. Okay, that is 9%. Actually, you can answer this by inspection. No? If you see from the question, no? 0.09, 0.08, no? So that is usually one digit percent, like 9%, 0.08, 8%, 0.07, 7%. For 90%, usually that's 0.9. So pag 0.9 na nakita sa board exam, that is 90%. Pag 0.8, 80%. 0.6, 60%. Okay? So pag 0.9% naman, usually ito 0.009. Okay? So 0.009 naman ang given doon. Okay? So you will have your 0.9%. Alright? Now, for 900%, pag whole number, kanyari, which is equivalent to 9, so that is 900%, which is equivalent to 8, that is 800%. To illustrate that better, for example, we have 0.09 here. What you will just do is, of course, move the decimal point. Okay, 1 and then 2. So, nandito yan. So, that is 9. 9%. Okay? Or, you can just multiply 0.09 times 100%. You will get 9%. Okay? But you can just move the decimal point from left to right. Okay? 1 to 9%. 1 to, of course, 0.9 is 90%. Or 0.9 times 100%, that is also 90%. So ito, of course, andito yung decimal point, no? Ano yan? Invisible, no? So, 1, 2. So, that is 900%. Okay? So, that is 9 times 100. That is 900%. Okay? So, again, sabi ko nga, you can actually answer it by inspection. Pag 0.09, agad-agad, 1 digit percent. 8%, 0.08, 0.08, 8%, 5%. Okay? 0.5, 50%. 0.9, 90%. 0.8, 8%. Okay? 9, 900%. 7, 700%. 6, 600%. I hope that's clear. Okay, we can proceed now to the next question. It can be used to show the progress in academic grades over 4 quarters. Is it A, circle graph, B, pie graph, C, line graph, D, bar graph? So what is the better and most appropriate graph, no, to show the progress of a student in terms of academic grades for 4 quarters? Of course, that is letter C, line graph. No? So using line graph, you can actually better no, represent the progress, academic progress or academic achievement of your students. So this is an example of a line graph. No? So the title of the graph is Jill Secondary Math Scores. So you have your scores here, and then of course, grade level. Okay, so you can see that there is an increasing trend, although there were fluctuations no, in this area. Then again, increases no, towards grade. So this is an example of a line graph which actually better represents your academic progress. So pag nakita sa board exam, what's the best and most appropriate for academic progress, academic achievement, that is line. Okay. So other graphs, you can see here the pie graph or the circle graph. You can see the pie in terms of percentage here. You can also see here an example of a bar graph, which makes use no, of rectangles no, to represent the data. And of course, we have here an example of a histogram. So usually for histogram, each represents the frequency distribution. Okay, usually, if you want, for example, um, to see the frequency distribution of the scores of your students in the first quarterly exam, you can actually create or construct a histogram. You can make use of the Excel, or you can make use of the SPSS, or the statistical package for social sciences, or SPSS software, to do this. No, natanong na to sa board exam, no? In the recent board, tinanong what specific graph can you use to show the frequency distribution better, so you will answer histogram. Okay? So next, it illustrates how a portion of the data relates with the whole. Okay? A line graph, B bar graph, C pie graph, D area diagram. So what is the correct answer when you want to illustrate the portion of the data relating to the whole? So that is, of course, your pie graph, or tinatawag din yung circle graph. So if you see portion of data relating to the whole, pie graph. An example of a pie graph is this one. Okay. So this is actually a pie graph. So you can see 97.2% is actually ocean. No, sources of Earth's water is actually from the saline, okay, saline environment, saline water, which is mainly of the ocean. And of course, 2.8% is, what is this? Fresh water, okay? So this is your Earth sources ng water, 2.8%, around 3% is fresh water, while the rest is saline water, those water coming from your oceans and seas. No? So this is what composes our hydrosphere. And out of 2.8%, 2.15 dyan yung glacier, then groundwater is 0.60. So you can see here that very, no, hindi, less than 1% lang ang pwede nating magamit, no, as groundwater, no, which is of course available for drinking, but you're not sure kung potable ito. So depending on the sources of water. But of course, in other provinces in the country, there's still potable water, but most often than not, adulterated and polluted. That's why we have our mineral water. And of course, some are frozen or glaciers. That's why this is actually part of our cryosphere, the sphere of the Earth which is frozen. So pag tinanong sa board exam, how do you call the sphere of the Earth which is frozen? That is cryosphere. Okay? The water portion of the Earth, that is hydrosphere. Okay? So next question. It illustrates a particular data series through rectangles. Is it A line graph, B bar graph, C pie graph, area diagram? So I mentioned this earlier, when the data series are actually represented through rectangles, you are using bar graph. Okay? Bar graph. So tatandaan, data series to rectangles, bar graph. Okay? So this is an example of a bar graph now representing the population growth from 2011 to 2021 compared to the previous. You can see there is actually a decreasing trend of our population growth in the country. In 2021 alone, the population growth is pegged at 1.33. Remember that the Philippines is one of the most populated countries in Asia. Uh, Based on the recent data, I think it ranked in the between 12 or 13 in the world. So, overpopulation may be one of the problems that could actually affect also our environment. Okay? We're talking about here the carrying capacity of a country to sustain the needs of the people, and of course, base pa rin sa available resources. The resources. Right? Okay? So 1% of 75 is 15, A 30%, B 40%, C 20%, D 50%. So ilang percent ng 75 ang 50? The answer is ilan? Okay? Teachers, the answer is 20%. Okay, so it has something to do with the part and the whole. No? So to represent that, no, the part and the whole, of course, let's represent 15 as the part of the whole, which is 75. And what we're looking is the part percent. So percent, no, is unknown, and that's the part, and the whole, of course, is 100%. So we're going to look for the x. So cross multiply. So that's 75x, no, 75x, then 15 times 100. Okay, 75 times x and 15 times 100. So 75 times x, of course, 75x. Then 50 times 100, of course, that is 1,500. Okay. So for us to be able to get no the x, we will just divide them both by 75. Okay. So that is x is equal to 15 100 or 1,500 divided by 75 is 20. So that is 20%. So our answer here is 20. Right? So next, a recipe calls for 2 eggs for every cup of flour. If the head chef uses 28 cups of flour, how many eggs will he need? So this is ratio and proportion. A, 56 eggs. 14 eggs. T, 65 eggs. T, 55 eggs. Ratio and proportion. So what's the answer here? Future LPTs. The answer here is, of course, 56 eggs. How do we get the answer? No, we'll just write, no? So that is eggs to flour. No? So we have here egg to flour, then egg to flour. So the given, of course, we have two, two eggs in one flour, in one cup of flour. And of course, unknown yung number of eggs in 28 cups of flour. So we're going to find out the the number of eggs if there are actually 28 cups of flour. So we're just okay, multiply this, no? 2 times 28, then 1 times x. Okay, so 2 times 28, then 1 times x. Okay, we'll just do that. And then, of course, 2 times 28 is 56, then 1 times x, syempre, invisible na yan, so x na yan. Okay, so that is x. So your answer here is 56 eggs. So there would be a 56 eggs needed, no? He will need 56 eggs in 28 cups of flour. Okay? So next question. The fraction halfway between 3 over 7 and 4 over 7 is the fraction halfway. Okay? A, 1/2. B, 1/3. C, 1/4. D, 1/8. So what is the answer? If you see this question in the board exam, we will just be using here a midpoint formula. So we're going to show that later. But of course, the answer here is 1/2. So pag nakita sa board exam, 3 over 7 and 4 over 7, the fraction halfway is 1/2. Okay? Kung ayaw nyo na mag-compute, tandaan nyo lang 3 over 7 for over 7, 1/2. But of course, for us to be able to get that, we're going to use the midpoint formula, x1 plus x2 over 2. No? So the given for our x1 is, of course, 3 over 7. Then our x2 is 4 over 7. So we're going to see the halfway. So kaya we need to divide it by 2. Okay? So, of course, we're going to add that. No? So 3 over 7 plus 4 over 7, we'll just add 3 plus 4, 7, then we'll just copy the denominator since this is similar fraction. So 7 over 7 divided by 2. And 7 over 7, of course, 1 over 2. So that is 1 over 2 or 1. So the halfway there is 1/2. So the answer is 1/2. Okay? Next, in an English test, 8 students obtained the following scores: 10, 15, 12, 24, 12, and 14. What is the median score? So we're looking for the median. A, 14. B, 14.5. C, 15.5. So are we going to answer that? Of course, we're going to arrange the given values from lowest to highest. So mula sa pinakamaliit hanggang sa pinakamataas. Okay? And then, If it's even number, okay, sabihin kapag pantay yung number, okay, sa both sides, we will get the middle numbers, no? The middle numbers, we're going to add the middle numbers divided by 2, and that will be the middle. However, if it's an odd number, if we have a middle score, okay, if we have a middle score, then that is actually our median. In this case, we have an even number, so we have to get the two middles. Okay, and then we're going to divide that into 2, and the answer is 14.5. Okay, to illustrate that, okay, so here's our original values. Again, what I said is, arrange natin siya from highest to lowest. So I arrange it from highest, 10, 12, 12, 14, 15, 16, 18, 24. And because this is even, we're going to get the two middle numbers, which is 14 and 15. Then 14 plus 15 is 29, okay, divided by 2. And 29 divided by 2 is 14.9. All right, so the median or the middle score here is 14.5. Say for example, we remove 24 here. Okay, assume walang 24 dyan. So what will be the median score or the middle score? Of course, 3, our middle score is 40. Okay, yun kapag add naman ang distribution. But in this case, because it's even, we have to get the two digits, no, at the middle. Okay, and then divide it by 2. Pero hindi nyo to gagawin kapag ito ay odd number. We will just get the middle score. All right. Now, another question, say, using the same distribution, for example, using the same values, what is the mode? Identify the mode. The mode here is what value? Of course, 12, because there are more than one. Okay, so if there's more than one, that is the most frequent score, then that is actually considered as your mode. Okay. So next question. The largest common factor of two or more numbers is called A, greatest common factor, B, prime factor, C, composite factors, D, least common multiple. What's the answer, future LPTs? The largest common factor is, of course, okay, pwedeng, ano dyan, no? Context clue, largest, of course, that is greatest, no? Greatest common factor is the largest common factor of two or more numbers. Okay, so if we're going to differentiate, no, the different alternatives. Of course, we already mentioned what GCF is, no? It's the largest common factor of two or more numbers, while prime factor has something to do with factors of a number that are also prime numbers, or when we say prime numbers can only be divided by itself in one. So for example, uh, number 2, no? So 2 divided by 2, okay, is how many? 2 divided by 2 is, of course, 1. 2 divided by 1 is equal to, so it can be divided by itself and by 1. Another is 3, no? 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 1 is 3. So it can be divided by itself and 1. So these are prime numbers, and these can be considered prime factors. Composite factors, on the other hand, are those numbers that have more than 2 factors. No, kapag prime factor, usually, ano lang to, dalawa lang. The itself and 1. But for composite, that is more than 2. Okay? Then, of course, LCM. What do you mean by LCM? Least common multiple. That is correct. Least common multiple is the smallest of the common multiples. Alright? So, to illustrate, no, tignan natin yung mga prime numbers. I made mention of the prime numbers. Okay? So, these prime numbers actually can be divided, no, by itself and 1. So, pag tinanong sa board exam, what is the lowest, no, prime number? Okay, so you have here the 2. Okay, lowest prime number is 2. And then between 1 to 100, okay, how many or what is the total of prime numbers between 1 to 100? The answer is 25. So isasagot sa board exam, pag tinanong ilan lahat ang prime numbers mula 1 hanggang 100, that is 25. And then Pag tinanong sa board exam, what is the largest prime number less than 100? The answer is 97. Okay? So tatandaan niyo. So these are the different prime numbers from 2 no to 200. From 1 to 200 up to 200. Okay? So 199. So pag tinanong what is the largest, okay, prime number less than 200, that is 190. Okay? Pag tinanong naman, what is the prime number less than 110? That is 100. Okay? So may mga ganong tanong ang PRC na lumalabas na frequently asked question no, in the board exam. So tatandaan. Alright? So next, the least common multiple or LCM of 2, 3, and 4 is blank. A13, 24, 14, 12. What is the answer? Future tab naturals. The answer here is, of course, yes, 12. All right. So in order for us to get this, of course, we need to know the multiples. All right. So this is actually, we're looking for actually the LCM of 2, 3, and 4. So we have to know the multiples of 2, 3, and 4. We'll just range 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, multiples of 3, 3, 6, 12, 15, multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So basically, the least common, no? Ito yung common sa tatlo na pinakamaliit na multiple, kaya siya least common multiple ay 12. Okay, kasi ito yung nandito yung 12, makita na yung 12, makita natin yung 12. Di naman, wala namang 10. Okay? Wala rin namang 9 sa dalawa. Wala rin namang 8 sa dalawa. So the least common, which is when you say common, dapat makikita natin to doon sa mga values na nasa tanong. And the common here is 12, the least common multiple. Right? So next, the sum of the sides of a polygon is the blank. A area, B legs, C volume, D perimeter. How do you call the sum of the sides of a polygon? Okay? The answer is, of course, perimeter. So pag nakita sa board exam, sum of the sides of polygon, the answer is perimeter. Okay? And of course, we have, to illustrate that, we have here an illustration. Say, for example, this is a square, no? For example, 5 units, no, each side. So if we're going to get the perimeter, we'll just add. Kaya nga, sum, di ba, of all the sides of polygon, 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is equal to 20. Therefore, the perimeter of this particular square is 20 units. The sum of the sides of this polygon is 20. We're pertaining to perimeter. Of course, there are different types of polygons. Pag tinanong sa board exam, how do you call a polygon with 4 sides? That is quadrilateral. How do you call a polygon with 3 sides? That is triangle. How do you call the polygon with 9 sides? That is nonagon. With 6 sides, hexagon. With 5 sides, pentagon. With 8 sides, octagon. With 7 sides, heptagon. With 10 sides, decagon. Paano pag tinanong naman tayo ng 11? How do you call 11? That is on decagon. So 11 sides on decagon. 12 sides dodecagon. 13 sides triskaidekagon. 14 sides tetradecagon. 15 sides pentadecagon. 16 hexadecagon. 17 heptadecagon. So inuulit lang natin yung mga ano, di ba? Hepta, galing din sa hepta. And then deca because it's 10 plus 10. 7 hepta plus 10 is 17. 18 octadecagon. 19 enya decagon. And 20 icosagon. Okay? Enya decagon, 19 icosagon, 20. So when we call, pag tinanong, although hindi naman masyado familiar, hindi masyadong tinatanong yung 11 above, dito lang tayo usually sa 3 to 10. No? Pero at least alam nyo to, no, if you're going to teach it in the future, at least, no, alam ng bata. How do you call a polygon with 20 sides? Icosagon. Alright. So, next. Meron pa ba? Okay, wala na. So, that ends, no? Again, our rationalization for another 10 questions, no? In Gen Ed, focusing on Gen Ed Math. And before I leave, I'd like to remind you to believe in yourself. All right. So you have to believe in yourself that you can, that you will pass the board exam, that you can make it only if, of course, you have prepared yourself, you've exerted effort, and you really prayed for this and manifest that it will happen. So keep the faith, no future future top managers. And thank you so much for all the support. No, I've been reading all your comments. No? So as I promised, no, I'll try to upload more videos no, before your October uh, 2, 2020 board examination. So good luck and God bless to all of you. So do not forget no, to subscribe and watch my previous videos no, for you to be able to reacquaint no, about the basic concepts no, in the board licensure examination for professional. Marami pong salamat once again, this is your Ag Amazing Guru, Teacher Dan.